God here! Nice to see you again! Today we are going to be making a delicious European pastry that is called strudels, also known as milhoja here in Colombia. I am not going to make such a long introduction because I know how much you want to know how to do this delicious dessert. But first, we are going to go with myself to tell you a little bit about the history of this delicious pastry. Well, their exact origin is unknown. They are a rectangular dessert that is served in layers. First, we have a puff pastry layer, then we have whipped cream, and then we can have custard or another puff pastry layer. It is very traditional in a lot of European countries, and here in Colombia we also know it as milhoja. Even if we don't have an exact place or date, we can take it back to the 17th century, where it was made for the royals. Now, it is commercialized all over the world. For example, in America we know it as Napoleon, and they make it with almond milk. The first version of the recipe was found in the French cuisine book that was written like 200 years ago. But if it's so famous, why don't we try right now? Let me show you the best recipe that you can find on the internet. Let's go! Thank you myself for this lovely introduction. Now the recipe may get started. The first thing that is going to be made is the whipped cream, which is one of the most delicious touch of the milhoja or millefeuille. We need to have the milk already in a cool room temperature. First up, the milk is going to be poured in a bowl, and our instant whipped cream. Now the milk is going to be poured into the bowl. We need to ensure that we add it little by little because you don't want a too liquidy mass. And now we start mixing. The other ingredients are going to be added little by little. And you know it's ready when you can do this.
En ese momento, Cell sintió el verdadero terror.
And now, this bad boy is going to rest in the fridge for about an hour, or the time that the rest of the things need to be done. And now we are going with our second combination. The cornstarch is going to get diluted into 75 milliliters of warm or cold milk. And then this is going to be preserved in the refrigerator for about an hour. That is the time that is going to be taken to do the rest of the recipe. And now the eggs and the sugar is going to be mixed in a bowl until they foam. And this mix is also going to be preserved in the fridge. Now that our egg and sugar combination was mixed well enough, the milk, cinnamon and orange peel are all going to be put together into the stove, and we're going to let them be heated up until they let go all of their flavors. Now this is going to be stirred for a little 5 or 6 minutes until it cools down a little bit. Then the egg mixture is going to be added here. It's really important that you have into account that they both need to be rest and they both need to be pretty cool because nobody wants a mixture with beaten eggs inside of it. Now that it has cooled down a little bit, the previous ingredients are very well mixed. and the saucepan with them is put again in fire. First, we need to integrate the eggs very well into this mixture we already have. Now, the previous ingredients are very well mixed, and the saucepan is put again in low fire. At this time, the milk and the cornstarch are going to be incorporated, and the cinnamon stick and orange skin are going to be taken out. At medium heat and non-stop mixing, the cream is going to get cooked until it boils again. Please take out a pencil and note this. At non-stop mixing and low fire, the cream is going to continue to be cooked until it gets thicker. Now, it is going to be taken out of the fire once again when it boils. You cannot stop mixing at this point because you are going to get lumps in your mixture. Now, the mixture needs to be poured in a wide and flat pattern. It is really important that it gets stirred constantly because you really don't want a hard layer getting formed on top when it gets cold. Now, the cream needs to be covered completely with plastic paper, but only once it's completely cold. The transparent paper needs to be making contact with the surface of our cream so that a thick layer is formed on top. And now we are going to let it cool in the freezer until we get all of the other things done. Now with the puff pastry preparation. Now you are going to get yourself an oven-safe plate and you are going to put non-sticking paper on it. Then on top you are going to put one of the sheets that you have already cut of your puff pastry. You are going to sprinkle a lot of normal sugar on it so that it tastes like something. And then you are going to repeat the process over and over again, putting another layer of puff pastry and another non-sticking paper. You need to remember, or not need to remember, this is just like a tip. Put a lot of butter in the sides so that the paper sticks and it doesn't hug the puff pastry and it comes out sticky. Oh god, I almost forgot to tell you. The sheets are pinched with a fork so that they don't overflow when we are baking them. Remember, a layer of puff pastry and a layer of non-sticky paper, butter on the sides, and repeat. If you have another plate for the oven, this can be put on top so the mass doesn't elevate a lot while baking. Pieces are going to be baked for 35 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, and we need heat in top and bottom. Be very careful with the timing because you need to put them out quickly to let them cool for the next step. Now assembly and final presentation of the cream strudels. And now that our puff pastry has been completely cooked, we are going to take it out of the oven and it is going to get rested 30 minutes. Something that I already did. It should look something like this. When the puff pastry is cold, cream is taken out of the fridge and whipped again so it gets an equal texture in all of the sides. A pastry bag or even a simple plastic bag is going to be filled with the cream that we already made. Even a spoon can help us in this job. Now that we have our very rectangle ready with the milk on the bottom, we are going to put our custard, our whipped cream, and of course, a lot of delicious caramel. layer is going to be covered by complete custard and also a little bit of caramel to cover and make it even more beautiful. If you want to end with a puff pastry, you can add icing sugar. It is a really nice touch that will make it a lot more professional. Easy and quickly, you can now serve your millefeuille. Now you can divide them with a knife if you haven't divided them yet. This dessert, this delicious traditional dessert, can be now enjoyed by you, who would said you were such a good chef. I really hope I see you in my next English assignment. Bye!